So as you can see, I had to tilt the window down and push it with a screwdriver to get this inside. What was happening is this, you see where that little bend is, that was deformed inside, and so it was going up and down past that, providing resistance on the window. So I'm glad I found that, and hopefully I didn't break the clip that I just replaced. But we'll put it back on and see how it works. All right, I have removed the clip and anchor, put it back in. I put a little bit of this extra material that they goop on everywhere. It comes in a little handy, to hold things in place. Tightened it down. So again, let's try take number 2 or 3, depending on how you look at it. Window up, window down. That's the problem. So it was this little piece of trim here that had been pushed in and was tracking wrong. So make sure you check that so that there's not resistance on the window. Great, so that's good. Now I can take this somewhat mangled inner liner and start putting that back in place. Alright, that's got it. So the liner's back in place with all of its gooiness. Let's see. My electrical connectors are out of the way. Let's see if I can set this up so you guys can see. Alright, so now I'm going to replace the door panel. So here's a trim piece, got the panel in my hand. One other annoying bit, which if you're trying to describe what you're doing and film it at the same time, the engine or the key needs to be in the ignition to run the windows, and it gives you the alarm for that the key's still in the ignition, so it just makes noise constantly. Alright, let's see. So the problem that I was having, and let's see, probably better. As I mentioned, this you see this hole in the top of the bracket here? This has got to go behind this to that little yellow connector. And I think what was happening was this was too tight before, and so it was keeping this panel from coming off when I was trying to pull it out, because you couldn't see it. So let's see if we can get that around there. So let's reconnect some of these things. Switch. So here's the light that shines from the bottom of the bottom of the door panel. So we need to pop that back in place. That doesn't want to seem to come out. Alright, I just pushed it through there. So we have a connector for the power window switch, and then this is a connection for the speaker, another hard to see. So speaker. Alright, that's connected. There's a little light which pops in here. Sorry, there was another one. There's a little light that illuminates the door handle. And then the last, but certainly not least, is this one. Alright, so the trick is this has got to go around here somehow. Everything's in the way. That's in the way. This should actually be over here. So that might be one of the reasons it's having a hard time getting to where it wants to go. The real world problems that you don't usually get to see. So one of the little tabs on that holds the little knob that pops up and down for the unlocking of the door lock, is popping out. And then this thing has somehow got to go underneath here. There we go. Wow, that was difficult. And I think this is supposed to be on top of, which is not good. It shouldn't be this difficult. Oh boy, oh boy. And then, as I said, this tab, which is right here, is completely in the way because the metal connector needs to be behind it. All right, I'm going to try and show you what I'm talking about. This plastic piece that is part of this window shade, and you can see it's twisted to the side. And if you look way back in there, there's that little metal bracket that holds this hidden Torx bit into the body. And that thing's twisted a little bit, so I'm going to have to wrangle it to get it into place. But that was a bear, and that was keeping the panel from coming off initially. So I'm sure when you disconnect the door handle that it probably needs to be up and maybe slid forward to get past that plastic bracket. Well, a lot of work and a bunch of lessons later. So, a couple things. What panel wouldn't fit back on because one of the tabs had broken off and was out of skew, so I had to remove it. Once you get it started, I would attach this top torque screw first just to hold it in place. I removed this inner ring because it was interfering with the tab there. Couldn't get the door to work once I put it back on, so had to finagle it around. This actually goes above that plastic track piece that I told you was such a pain, and I ended up just bending it out of the way so I could put everything in place, tighten it, and then move the plastic back because I couldn't get it around there otherwise. So the door's pretty buttoned up. It's dirty, I'm gonna clean it. And then last thing, I'm just gonna put this trim piece on, which goes here. Put this down for a second. Of course it doesn't want to fit. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's four. There. Finally. Little persuasion. So I'm going to clean up the door and use a little interior adhesive to fix this. And I'll show you some bonus footage. I said I would fix this little trim piece that's off. I was afraid of spraying the adhesive and getting it on the trim. So I just put a piece of cardboard and it slides right underneath there. So I'm going to use that as a shield to spray, lift this up, spray the inside, tuck it all in with and then it'll dry and it should be fixed. So I'll show you what the result is. All right, that's with the edge folded under. Looks good. My panels are clean, all buttoned up. Last thing to do is put this privacy screen in place. It should be pretty simple. It sits here and it pops onto a clip. I did have to depress the clip when I hit. Yeah, so I've seen other videos where it says to push down on that clip. It actually pushes up. It's a spring clip that holds it from the top. And there's a little notch on the bottom. So once you place it there and get this positioned right, it should pop right back into place, which it does. And they work. And my door is all buttoned up. All right, car is all buttoned up. Let's see how she works. Wrong one. Nice and smooth. So just to wrap up, everything works great. Glad I did this myself because my mechanic quoted me, it was like $500 or $600 to replace because the labor was about 3 hours of labor and the part was 120. I found it online for about 25 or 30 bucks. Bought a couple of additional pieces. I think the new clips were $7 for a set of 4, so I have 3 extras if anything else breaks. And the fastener clamps for the hack were $1.75 at Lowe's. So more or less for, let's call it 30 bucks. Fixed it myself. Took a couple hours, 2-3 hours, mostly just because I didn't know what I was doing and fumbling to try to get things to fit and go back on and off. But once you figured out all the problems, there were multiple failures. The regulator itself failed, the clip that holds it to the window failed, the window tracking failed, so fixed all that and we are good to go and it's perfectly functional again. So I don't have to ride around with tape holding it shut. Thank you very much. YouTubers, if you like the video below, and subscribe if you'd like. I post more videos about this and my other cars as I fix them. I do it myself and other kind of fix-it projects. But thank you very much, and I'll see you later.